Hi, and thank you for joining us on our last Rio News segment. I'm Andrea Galicia.
And this is Michelle Torres. Students from the ceramics course of Rio Hondo College participated for the second consecutive year in the Empty Bowls event. This event took place at the Sierra Madre United Methodist Church. Participants got to select a bowl and take it home with them as a symbol of the troubles homeless families face daily. Arturo Vasquez and Jared Chavez were among the noble students who went out of their way to create bowls that were donated by the event. Guests participated by purchasing tickets for a meal donated by local area restaurants. Money that was raised went to the Family Promise East San Fernando Valley's mission of assisting homeless families.
The $1 million reward that was offered to people with the lead on Christopher Donor is finally being distributed among 3 people. $800,000 will go to James and Karen Reynolds, who were held captive in their Big Bear cabin but managed to escape and call the police. $150,000 will go to Daniel McGowan, who found Donor's burning truck in Big Bear, where he was eventually discovered. And $50,000 will go to R.L. McDaniel, who reported spotting Donor at a gas station. Hey Jeff, how did our baseball team do in the playoffs?
Not as well as we expected, Andrea. On April 30th, the Rio Hondo men's baseball team was eliminated by East Los Angeles College 5-1, effectively ending their season. According to the Dean of Physical Education, Stephen Herbert, has hired Mike Lowe as a new head coach for the men's basketball team. Coaching for 20 years at Lucerna High School, Coach Lowe is a 14-time league champion and has earned 24 Coach of the Year awards. And now on to the NBA. After a disastrous year, the Los Angeles Lakers season has finally come to an end. The Lakers will look to get back on track as they attempt to get everyone healthy for the start of the 2014 season. The Clippers were also eliminated from the playoffs, failing to move on from the first round. The NBA playoffs continue as the second round with some interesting matchups such as the defending champion Miami Heat facing off against the Chicago Bulls, as well as the San Antonio Spurs facing off against the young gunning Golden State Warriors. And before we end this segment, we'd like to give a special thanks to Coach George Caro, who was named Coach of the Year. We're proud of you. Back to you guys.
Students Without Borders came together to share their inspirational stories on the open mic event that took place in the Student Union building. A couple of students volunteered to tell their personal experience of learning a foreign language and adjusting to the new culture, and even their experience of crossing the border, becoming emotional for most of them and eventually letting them to shed some tears.
And here's Steven with entertainment.
Thanks, Andrea. Now today in arts. Congresswoman Linda Sanchez hosted this 11th annual 38th Congressional District High School Art Competition recently. Local students from nearby high schools submitted their best work in hopes to win first place and a spot on the state capitol's wall. Now on Rio Hondo campus, Rio Hondo students in the Theater 170 course recently performed the classic play and Pulitzer Prize winner, Our Town, written by Thornton Wilder. Performed as a pantomime with limited props, the Theater Crafts 1 and 2 classes contributed greatly to the production of the play, helping with stage production and sets. Now at the movies. The first of the 2 post-Avenger films this year, Iron Man 3, starring Robert Downey Jr. as his reprising his role as the billionaire playboy and philanthropist Tony Stark. The film has already earned over $170 million for its first weekend alone, and it stars Gwyneth Paltrow again as Pepper Potts and Academy Award winner Ben Kingsley opposite Jr. as the elusive Mandarin. But the second of Marvel releases will be Thor: The Dark World, featuring Chris Hemsworth's return as the Norse god of thunder and Natalie Portman as his love interest Jane Foster. And just based off Iron Man 3 and the most recent of previews for The Dark World, Marvel seems to be taking to exploring the more dramatic and darker classic superheroes. Now for the big one. Leonardo DiCaprio returns to the big screen this weekend for the long-awaited release of the 1924 best-selling novel by author F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. DiCaprio, always a favorite, plays a reclusive, new-money millionaire Jay Gatsby, who chases the naive dream of winning back his lost love, Daisy Buchanan, played by Carey Mulligan. Tobey Maguire also makes an appearance as Nick Carraway, the young narrator who enters the high society of the Jazz Age, in which men like Gatsby compete for the acceptance into the old money society. This marks the 3rd remake of the classic novel and is directed by Baz Luhrmann, who is remembered for his work on Moulin Rouge.
In local news, your children who often play at Central Park in Whittier will now be playing in a smoke-free zone. The signs will be installed in the remaining Whittier parks throughout the month of May. Whittier is now joining over 140 other California cities enforcing a smoke-free public park.
Here's Kristen with the 5-day forecast.
Thanks, Michelle. This weekend in the weather, it's going to be in the mid-70s, so make sure that you take advantage of that coolness because it's going to be at a peak of 102 degrees on Monday. Make sure that you stay hydrated and cool and have a fantastic weekend. Back to you guys.
Thank you for joining our broadcast since the beginning. This will be our final one for the semester.
We hope you join us during the fall semester. This is Michelle Torres.
And Andrea Galicia, we hope you have a wonderful summer.